That's 5 minutes.
Last Kieran Corla, and I welcome the opportunity today to address the Dáil on Europe Day 2012. It's easy to forget positives when times are hard, and today I want to focus on the benefits that the EU has brought us all in Europe. And then I want to speak about the challenge that we face to maintain our work in Europe in one of the most commendable agendas that we have, and that's the area of overseas development. And I also want to briefly outline the opportunities for the Oireachtas during the Irish presidency next year. We all know the benefits that the European Union has brought to Ireland, to Europe and to the world beyond. It's been a force since it came into existence. When hopes of European cooperation first took off in Europe, we were then recovering from a Second World War that brought the continent almost to the point of self-destruction, with many, many millions of people killed. And people from previous generations became used to living with the threat of war looming over their everyday lives. Yet, in such a short period of time, in the last 70 years, this has completely changed. And yes, we struggled initially. Europe was still divided by the Iron Curtain right up to 30 years ago, and it was torn between two conflicting ideologies. But we find ourselves in a different place today. Now children struggle to believe the way that Europe used to be. I just came before my speech today from talking to a crowd of school children from Ashburn, and we were talking about how just 30 years ago you needed visas to get into countries like Poland, to get into the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia as it was then. And I told them about my experiences in the 80s of walking through Checkpoint Charlie in a divided Berlin. It's very, very hard to understand how far, to realise how far we've come in a very, very short period of time. And Europe has also been beneficial to us here in Ireland. The European involvement in the Northern Ireland peace process was instrumental in ensuring that we reached the point where we could eventually sign the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. And peace that was once difficult to imagine here at home and throughout the rest of the European Union is now a reality. The European project has resulted in our continent being seen as an example of peace and cooperation. But we mustn't just celebrate our internal successes. We must celebrate the positive impact that Europe has had throughout the world. And I'll focus just on one area today, and that's the area of the overseas aid programme. Europe has built up a reputation internationally that we should all be very proud of. Our programmes have brought benefits to many, many people throughout the developing world. And some people will argue that we should be reducing these programmes now that we're in hard times here in Europe. But I say that this is wrong. I think that in times of difficulty, we need to reveal who we really are. And I think we must ensure that Europe's aid programmes continue to help those who need it most. And as we get ready for the Irish presidency of the European Union in January next year, we must make sure that the Oireachtas plays its part in shaping the agenda. With the EU having a greater impact on our day-to-day lives, our national parliaments must step up to increase awareness of the European Union. It's a great opportunity that we're given next year to do just that. Over the 6 months of our presidency, there'll be many inter-parliamentary meetings taking place here in Dublin and throughout the country. And we need to use the coming months between now and next January to agree what our priorities are for the Irish presidency. I've already mentioned our involvement with the overseas aid programme. I want to see our presidency focus on employment, particularly youth unemployment. It's a huge issue, not just for the Irish people, but for the people throughout Europe. And I think we can use our time between now and then to plan. And Deputy Ross says he wants to see some detail. So do I. I want to see some detail. I want to see some meat on the bones of what we can hope to achieve in relation to the area of youth unemployment throughout our presidency. Tomorrow, the European Union Affairs Committee will mark Europe Week 2012. We've got Speaker Brendan Hannigan in to outline his vision for Europe for the next 20 years. I think we need to celebrate the benefits that Europe has brought to us here in Ireland and beyond, and then use these to move forward to bring better prosperity, continued peace and harmony for the peoples of Europe.
Thank you, Deputy.